Welcome back. Drivers are just getting started, pacing out, and I myself am ready. What about you, PC?
Yeah, I'm ready. We got a pretty long race ahead of us as these guys better get ready to go green. These guys are also another thing to keep in mind. These guys are on two complete sets of different tires as Agent is on the blacks and Discharge right behind him is on the reds.
Yep. All right, so let's run you through your quality order. Got Asia starting on pole. Good starts the season, coming off of being a reigning champion from the previous season. Got Discharge running in second, starting on the reds. Ford going to be third, going to be on the blacks. PC, if you want to continue down the line, do the next three.
It looks like Kimmy is going to be starting right behind Beast on the blacks as well. Ryder Ali right behind him on the blacks as well. Behind him is going to be Blake, also on the blacks. A lot of these guys are starting the blacks early on in the race.
Continue down the line. We got Nico going to be starting in. Let me not mess this up. I believe that's going to be seventh. Sorry, eighth. My bad, guys. My apologies. It's gonna be starting eighth. Gonna be on the Reds. I assume it's gonna be the Reds. Got Zed gonna be ninth. That's gonna be Ryder's teammate for Arrow McLaren. Starting 10th, gonna be Anthony. Not too much of a qualifying that they were looking for, but they could turn it around in the race. Chesko made in the race. Looking to start that team off pretty good for the season. You know, pretty new, I would say. So let's just see what they do. Gonna be somebody to watch this race.
Right behind him is Ali, starting on the blacks as well. Right behind him is Flex. And rounding out the field today is going to be Dale Camone.
They'll come on with
All
that
three of these
crash.
guys.
Yeah, they'll come on with that crash in qualifying. That team was praying that they made it in. Official saw, reviewed, and allowed them to stay and continue. Only person that did not make the race out of the full qualifiers was Deuce. He's gonna miss this weekend.
Yeah, so we had a 14 car field cap for tonight's run as they are still going to be pacing. And actually, I want to ask you, Z, who do you think is actually going to be a real contender for the race win here today?
That's asked me. I got four, but I'm gonna try and pick one. Um, Shoot, you know that's hard. God, I mean, there's when it comes down to a road course, it's kind of a lot of, you got a lot of comers and goers. You see it everywhere. Discharge, it was practice was a little bit at the beginning. Practice was a little bit, questionable. You didn't know what you were gonna see from them. But now, he's knocking down 112s, contending with Agent and Ford. You got Ford. Ford was a little bit iffy in qualifying. Practice showed speed. He even came late to practice. But you know, just in general, I think it's gonna be anybody. I gotta say one person that you really have to beat. If the race runs green, it's gonna be Agent. Agent has been a man on strategy, a man that's like to experiment. He likes to see where things go, and I think that's gonna be one guy to beat. If you're looking at pace, you're looking at Ford, you're looking at Discharge. Agent also with pace, but I don't think it actually comes up as much compared to Ford. Ford has that really short burst, but I think mainly out of everybody, it's gonna be Agent. That's the guy to beat. But what about you? I mean, to see if you can
I
pick.
mean, there's a lot of heavy hitters in tonight's field, like Agent, you mentioned, Ford, Discharge. I'm actually, you know, I'm actually gonna go ahead and pick Ford for this one. I think Ford has the good race car, has a good pace all around, and I feel like it's gonna come down from Ford. It's probably gonna come into either like Ford, Agent, and maybe Discharge throughout the top three.
Yeah, and we're gonna go ahead and see the practice results on your screen. This is from total. This is from both combined practices. See Agent fastest time 113. See in practice they were running a little bit on the slower, run a little bit on the slower times. As the sessions continue, they got faster. You saw Discharge second, Ford third, Anthony fourth, Kimmy fifth. Chesko is even sixth.
Yeah, Chesko is one of the newcomers in tonight's run. Starting towards the back, he's running the blacks right now. A lot of these guys early on are going to be running the blacks. We got a couple of guys like Discharge up there in the front going to be running the reds. So we'll see those guys like Discharge going to shoot out early on and get that early race speed, as it looks like we might be going green. shortly. I think it's gonna be green next time by.
Yeah, it's gonna be green next time. Now it's gonna be this time. Um, see what's coming on your screen. It's gonna be the points from season 1, the following the final race at Sunset Beach, I believe it was. Saw Agent take the championship, clinched it early, 368 points on the board. Saw Kimi finish behind him, 67 points, just ahead of Fearless, who finished 69 points behind. And just looking at this, the points as you go throughout the season, you saw Ford finish 5th, came very late in the season, had a very fast, but he had a phenomenal shoot up in the rankings and showed his pace. Won three or four races, I believe, that season. Even coming late, so he showed his dominance pretty late in that season. But now that he has a shot, start off the season at round 1, what can Ford do? What will that team do? What can they do that's better? And what can they prove to these guys? Ford has already proved multiple times that he is not going to give up. He's going to go out there. He's going to put what he has together, and he's going to show these guys that he's very fast. He's going to do even better than he was last season. He had a lot of fan base behind him, a lot of guys supporting him. So that support is going to go into this season too. And I believe that Ford is going to be a real contender to Agent, somebody that's going to be, with Agent at all times this season.
I mean, based off like the results from last season, it seems like Agent is the favorite to win not only this season, but pretty much like clinch all the races this season. Agent is pretty much like the dominant car to beat. He's like the standard point. If you can beat Agent, you can consider yourself an elite driver among the IndyCar series. And I believe guys like Ford, Discharge, and even like Beast, and even Kimi as well. These guys.
Yeah.
Could also contend with him. There's some newer guys as well that could contend with him as well, like Blake, potentially Ali. Some of those guys that are, making their first start in IndyCar today. Gonna try and get a feel, see how the cars are, and see how this race is gonna go. This is the first race of the season, and it looks like we're about to go green in just a few moments.
Gonna mention Kimi. Kimi, one of the guys looking for redemption. One of the guys who has had the most hits, most depressing, almost to the lowest points of the series in terms of finishing. But as we come to the start, drivers are going to pack up. Everybody's going to get double fouls. Going to start packing up. Agent, Discharge, front row. And the green will be delayed. That is disappointing. Something happened. See the couple cars back there.
Yeah, Chesko got into the grass back there. And a couple other guys kind of just got squirmed around, so the green will be delayed. Right,
I like to say things like that shoot the nerves up. I mean, these guys were about to come to the green. The nerves are high, and you're getting ready to get on the gas, and you get the delay, and now the nerves are going even higher because now you've got more on the line than it was before. Now everybody's back to single file, so they're gonna try one more lap. Those mistakes, I get under pacing, but things like that, they shake the brain up.
Yeah, these guys have to be really careful around here. I mean, especially since it's open wheel racing, you don't want to make much contact at all. And also, these guys have 0 resets, so if these guys wreck out on like lap 1 or whatever, they're done. So these guys got to be really careful as they're packed up heading the first corner. This is gonna be the most interesting part. One of the most interesting pivotal parts of the entire race is like that first corner to see who decides to back out, who decides to go for the charge early, goes for a certain moves. And as we round down into turns 4 and 5 for the first time, not for the first time, for pacing.
Yeah, these guys will have one more shot. There's a little bit of smoke there. I think there's a problem in that part of the track, but nothing really happened. But these guys got one more shot at a double file start. If waved off again, they will have to start single file, and that's something that is pretty disappointing. Especially for the guys, that's kind of aggravating for some of these guys on softs. They're looking to have this packed up. They want to get as close as they can to the lead. That turn 1 is where you're going to see a lot of guys making some early moves, but you got to remember the reset. There's no available resets in this race. You crash, you get suspension damage, you are out. You are done for the weekend. So I'd like to see how guys take turn 1 here. Usually in the past we've seen a lot of 4-wide dive. I think most of these guys most of them are gonna probably try and take turn 1 a little bit more easier than we've seen in previous past races here, and kind of conserve that car, because You know, you come down to this last lap, you crash, and it's all over, and that's the disappointing part. So we'll see how turn 1 looks. We're coming back to the green. We'll try a double foul restart one more time. Discharge will start on Agent's outside. Agent will be on the inside. Ford behind Agent. Throw 2.
One final thing I want to mention though, like all these guys, a lot of these guys in the top 5 or top 3 are going to be running blacks. They're charged, and
Here we
these are
go.
on reds, so we'll see how they charge out early on here.
Drivers are getting ready. Last couple drivers starting to get double foul stacked up. Agent discharge to start us green. Leader control, and Agent's gone already. Early start.
Green flag is out underway here at St. Petersburg as we dive in the first corner. Anthony's going to dive it down 4 wide, almost 4 wide, heading the first corner. Beast. Contact. Ryder.
Oh, smoke.
Ryder's around. Ryder.
Oh, Ryder crash. It's a wing. Caution's going to be out lap 1.
Caution is out. Ryder goes around. And now these guys get back into pace. And again, it was first. Oh, wait, we got to spin. Anthony and Chesko got into each other a little bit. Anthony went around. And Ryder will get a respawn since it's only
very fortunate for Ryder, and I think that's something that would make your heart drop. You know, your crash, you got your mind back. Now you're checking the car to see what happened, and you know, very fortunate that it was only wing damage. He'll be allowed to respawn and come back.
Yeah, these guys got really packed up early on, as we saw Anthony kind of just jumped out 4 wide, and it looks like either they didn't get the run or they kind of like backed out at the last second. But going back to what happened with Beast and Ryder, they got into each other, and it looks like Ryder ended up going around.
Ryder not too happy. States he was just driven through down into 1, and that's what I was trying to get to. Down into 1 is a very, very critical point, especially on restarts. Everybody is going for position. There's a lot of take and not much of give, and you know that's sort of the risk people take when you go down into 1. You gotta come out there with a little bit of luck if you want to, especially if you're in that mid portion of the pack. You got to come out there with a little bit of luck, because a lot of guys are going to be taken. They're going to be, you know, making contact a lot of this side and the third. And, you know, Ryder, unfortunate on that side of things that he was hit and he crashed. So we're going to have to pace one more time around. Pits will not open, I believe.
Luckily for Ryder, though, he's still in the race as he only got wing damage. Reminder, it's only if you get wheel or suspension damage that you're out of the race. So very lucky for Ryder, because if he hit those tire barriers at any other angle, Ryder could have very well been more dissatisfied than he already is.
The pits will be closed this caution. We will go quick caution. We go GTT this time.
Going green this time as Agent still in the lead, keeps his lead. Discharge will be filing in second. Ford third, Blake fourth, and Kimmy will round out the top 5.
Agent had an amazing jump on that restart. As soon as he got the command that it was leader control, he went. And that's the advantage of being a leader, especially when it comes down to, you know, late race cautions. You know, say like maybe a 1-lap shootout. Even if that's the case, that leader control gives you so much cushion from the pack and second place that it could be the difference between winning and losing the race for everybody else.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, another thing to keep an eye on as well, you have to have a pretty good reaction time when he starts, because once the leader goes, you know, if the guy behind you just doesn't get going, you run in the back of him, it could spell trouble for disaster. So these guys have to be very careful and have to time their restarts like pretty much like near perfection. As now they round out turn number 9 as they're gonna head down Bayshore Drive.
Oh, a little bit of a pop. I think Discharge might have got into the back edge and saw the rear end lift up a little bit there. That's also another thing these guys got to watch out for. When you're racing these guys tight, these cars, you can get under them. You can scoop people up, and that's the thing that will really get some people races, I would say, impacted greatly, because of the penalties regarding racing incidents, you know, stuff like that, is what officials take very strict. They're very strict on that. And we'll see how this goes. Agent coming up to the restart zone. Restart zone is from the apex curbing to the pit wall or pit entry. So we'll see what agent chooses. You know, a lot of people, how should I say? A lot of people like to go in the middle of the turn. When does agent choose to go? I think he's already going. He is. Green. Back on the
Is
green.
out,
Restart is away.
as now they're actually 3 wide in the back between Chesko, Ali, and Del Camon. Del Camon's going to back out. As Agent is going to lead the field going into turn number 1 with Discharge right behind him. Side by side for third between Ford and Blake. And now Blake is going to trail a little bit back. And oh, it looks like the caution has came out already.
Caution back out. Confused on for who? Oh, Ryder again.
Oh, Ryder.
Unfortunate.
Oh,
Second
Ryder.
crash of the day in just lap 3.
2 crashes back to back for Ryder Ali as he is around near the pit entry.
And incident responsibility will give him the drive-through penalty. Not what that team wants to see, especially with, you know, a driver like Ryder trying to learn, trying to, you know, improve his, how should I say, his relationship within the series. He has been in, I'd say, he's been a very conflicting driver recently, and he's just trying to, you know, put himself in a position where he can improve and be better. And, you know, this team has been working with him, and that has just got to be unfortunate. So he'll respawn, he'll get the drive-through penalty, he'll serve it. They're gonna put on the blacks, or I think they already had it. I'm not too sure, but
yeah, Ryder already had the blacks on.
You know, Ryder already had the blacks.
As we are nearing, it's going to be green this time. Agent still the control car, and we are only 3 laps in. We've had 2 cautions so far today, and both of them were involved Ryder.
And as you look at the field, only 2 people currently sit on the reds, both being Nico and Discharge. They're looking for that moment to get green and get some laps going. They're trying to get the idea of putting those reds on, I believe, was to get that early jump and to, you know, be able to pull ahead of some of these guys on the blacks and get, you know, some cushion from the rest of the field. As you see, the race control gives the information. 3 drive-through penalties as a DSQ as we're coming back to the restart zone. Ryder will not make the field. Agent has been given the restart zone. He's back on the green, and we are. Agent is gone. We are green. Restart is away.
Green flag is underway as that smacks the wall a little bit as we are green flag conditions are underway. Heading to turn number 1. Agent is going to lead them all in single file.
See a lot of people popping the curb there. Agent smacks the curb. Oh, when he crashes, Agent. I believe it was a bump. We will see what happens. The caution's out. Huge hit for Agent.
Huge hit initially. No suspension damage, so he's perfectly fine. Just has some severe wing damage on the front. But
Huge crash for Agent.
what a big wreck for Agent there. One of the heavy hitters in today's run is now going to have to start in the back as he.
I believe it was suspension. Yeah, that right rear is gone.
Wait, is it?
I think it is. That right rear is gone.
Oh, it is.
I think they're currently reviewing, trying to see what happened from the stream. It definitely looked like he popped some sort of bump. You know, that was huge. I mean,
Agent is out. That's going to be huge implications for the points. As Agent, and also Agent is like pretty much like the favorite coming in this race. Going to be tough heartbreak for Agent if his day ends here.
Yeah, very unfortunate for.
We'll wait on race control and see what they say. Now Discharge is going to lead the field with Ford behind with the 2.
I think they're currently reviewing it still. And that's something that he's going to fight for, and I believe that's going to be it. Kimmy comes down pits.
Coming down pit road right now.
I think he's going to take. I mean, he had. Oh, stopped.
Might be.
I think he's trying to go. I think the car might be stuck. Agent is out. So the call has been made. Oh, and Zed under caution. I believe that was lag.
Oh my! And that's his rear end. That is his right rear.
Oh,
Rear
huge.
out.
What is going on?
We'll see if Zed is out of the race. See what race control states. According to Zed, Chesko pushed him, and it caused him to hit the wall and go around. Tough break for Agent, and
that was huge. I mean, I'm not sure what happened there. That kind of
a lot just happened in the last couple minutes. Agent just is officially out, so that's huge. Agent's officially out. Looks like Zed is potentially cleared to compete. Looks like.
Yeah, Zed was given the okay. That was lag. I mean, that looked like it. I mean, he completely just turned on the caution. So he's going to receive his spots back. Anthony, looking at all this happen, he's still in the back. He's chilling. He's like, you know what, you guys, this looks scary. I'm gonna chill where I'm at. I'm going to just wait. And, you know, he's doing
Anthony
that.
has been trailing back over the last couple restarts. Just letting the field, you know, let the field sort it out. And then Anthony is looking to pounce on them. As of right now, though, Discharge and Nico are still the only guys that are on reds right now. So we'll see how they prevail in this restart.
Yeah, that's got to be that's a huge hit to that team. You know, came in looking for start off the season as good as they did last year and just completely, you know, just got the unfortunate part of it. And drivers see that, and now they're like, well, I don't want to do that. So they're going to try and avoid that as much as possible. Anthony way in the back. I mean, that's just something I like to mention. He's way back there. And he's going to go with everybody else. He's going to wait for that green. He's going to go with everybody else.
And Discharge now is going to lead them to the green, I believe. Yeah, he has two Chip Ganassi cars right on his heels coming to the restart. He has Ford and Blake. Both Chip Ganassi drivers right on his heels. Chesko right behind him in fourth. They'll come on up there in the top 5. So we'll see how this restart fans out.
Discharge is good. He's gone. Green and wave. Chesko with an amazing start around the outside of Blake. What a start by Chesko. He's going to jump to second on the side of Ford. That was great.
Side by side for second. What a great start by Chesko as they round on to the first corner. Ford's going to get into Discharge.
A little bit of contact between Dale Camone. Look at these guys rubbing.
They're side by side as they enter 4 and 5. Here comes Chesko. He's going to try and gain on him. Chesko's going to slam that wall.
See, Ford trying to look for a move. That was pretty scary. That right-hander. I don't know if you want to do that there. And he looked for the inside. Very bold by Ford. Chesko into third. What a start by Chesko. I mean, completely got the jump on everybody that was behind Discharge. Timed the restart perfectly. Went around the outside of Blake. Now in third. Trying to fight off Blake now. Blake looking for that spot back. See Dale come on the inside of Nico. Tried to make the move. Nico around the outside.
They were side by side for the 5th position. As now they're going to round around to the final corner. Discharge now has a pretty comfortable lead over Ford as Discharge Ford have broken away from the pack. Chesko looking to do the same thing here. As Chesko has a very, very solid last corner as now it looks like Discharge has about a 4-second lead on the rest of the pack.
See these 3 cars right here. Oh, Blake in the wall. Nico's going to have to run really wide to get around the outside of him. They're 3 wide pass. What a move between Dale and Nico. Very risky, too. Got to remember the resets. But they made it work. Now they're side by side. Dale Camone and Nico. Dale Camone going to try the outside. Going to be tight. Coming into the left-hander. Runs Nico wide into the wall. Here comes Flicks. Everybody's tight.
Everybody's going to get stacked up here. Blake is going to get away pretty much scot-free.
They were side by side into that right-hander. Push Dale wide.
Yeah, it's a very tight battle for the 5th position. And right as just served his drafty penalty. As these guys are fighting hard for the 5th position. As Dale's go potentially to the inside. Looks like he's going to back off for now.
Good move by Flicks. Move around the outside of Dale. Got the later braking. Now he's going to move him up into 6th behind Nico, who's in 5th. Dale Camo's not going to give up though yet. Little bit of contact on the gearbox. See, Dale, it's like a what is it called? I don't even know, but I was trying to come up with a term. But you got one guy trying to pass another while the other one's trying to pass another. You got what that's called? Oh, the domino effect. I'm crazy. But you got that domino effect. You saw Dale trying to go for the move on Flicks as he made a little bit of contact, run Flicks wide into the wall. That's going to be 3 wide.
Behind him is Zed, and Beast is going to get by. Here comes, and now Beast and Flicks.
A little bit of contact, discharge on the wall.
Oh, here they go into that double right-hander, and it looks like Beast is going to get
contact, Flicks.
Oh, Flicks, what a bump from Flicks and the Beast. And now Zed is going to get by Dale Kamal, which I believe is for you.
Beast tried to back out there. I don't think he knew that.
Dale's going to send it in. Dale sends it in into the sharp right-hander.
Dale's been one of those guys to go out and get these wins. He is determined to show this field that he has got what it takes to be up there, and he will go for anything that proves that, he's going to go for it. And, judging what he just did in that right-hander, he smacked the wall a little bit there, but judging what he did in that right-hander shows how determined Dale is to go out and win.
Off a third is about to be rage on between Chesko and Blake, as Blake is now caught to Chesko. And Discharge has a comfortable almost 7-second lead ahead of Ford right now, as this shows the tire difference between the reds and the blacks. Discharge is just absolutely flying away right now. He's trying to get that early jump on the lead, so when he comes down and switches the blacks that are on the run, he's going to be able to do so with a comfortable lead. And Blake is going to look to the outside, looking for that third place position over on Chesko. We'll see how they handle it in turns 4 and 5. A little bit of contact right there as Blake is going to head to the inside. He's going to come around to the double right-hander. Chesko looks like he's going to file in behind Blake for the moment.
Blake ran a little wide there. Chesko, he had to give up some, of his own time just to now run into the back. You don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
It's battle for third right here.
And a caution has come out. Caution is out. Flicks has apparently DNF'd, and he is around in turn number 4.
Oh, huge.
Flicks is
it's going to be that left rear tire.
Yeah, around in turn 4.
And Flicks will be out.
Now they're coming back. It looks like Discharge is still going to continue to lead the field. He had a pretty solid 7-second lead over Ford before that caution came out. And as we see, the tires are going to be wearing at different points. As Nico and Discharge, they're definitely going to be on weaker tires in the remaining of the field.
All right, so caution lap 10. Discharge, Ford, Blake, Chesko, Nico, top 5. Pits, I'm gonna guess they're gonna try and open pits, and we're gonna see some guys probably take it. Not really what Discharge was hoping for. They were really hoping to get some more time out on Ford, but caution came out. Unfortunate. Pits are gonna be open, so we'll see who's gonna come down. I'm assuming a lot of people are gonna try and come down. Kimmy has already. I think Kimmy. Now he has not made that switch yet, so I think there's a lot of guys still looking to make that switch.
Some garage issues early on.
Oh, and we got one around. Dale smacks the wall, and he's gonna be out.
That's my tough break for Dale.
We'll see what race control says. Looking from the broadcast, it looked like a bump. Yeah, and he will be allowed to respawn. It seems. Yeah, he will be allowed to respawn. So it was a bump. Track seems to be very bumpy. A lot of people hitting bumps.
Yeah, especially it's a very bumpy course as we see along the run here. I mean, the first notable bump we see was back in turn 14 on the entry on the curb, where some drivers are hitting that during practice and they were spinning out into the barriers. So
nobody has made the switch yet. A little bit of contact there between Chesko and Blake. Probably a little bit of disagreement. Nobody has made the switch on tires, so everybody still has to pit at least once right now.
Yeah, so it looks like, judging by Dustin alone, a lot of these guys might come down. They might do either the switch, or they might just come down and just get some new tires.
Yeah. So we'll see. what people choose. It's gonna be quite interesting to see what the choices are.
as the two Ganassi cars are still behind Discharge. Let's see what Chip Ganassi does.
All right, so Discharge stays
there's
out.
Chip
Oh,
Ganassi.
he was thinking about it.
Discharge is
Everybody
gonna come
comes
on
down.
in.
Some couple people stay out.
Zed, Ryder, Kimmy, Dale Kamal are gonna stay out. Everyone else is gonna file in pit road. We'll see
And
what the
this,
switch is this
yeah,
time.
this is where the strategy starts to change. When that first stop hits is now when everybody is in the same game until that first stop. Once that first stop comes, now everybody's running their own different game.
And now Ford came down. He's got a set of reds on. Some new
Oh,
tire.
on a great stop by Ford, jump Discharge. So
Got the jump on him.
Discharge didn't take the switch. He actually came down. And he actually came down and took another set of reds. A lot of guys
Yeah,
actually came down and took the reds. I think Beast actually went back to the blacks.
yeah. It looks like. Yeah, it looks like some of these guys just kind of stayed under tire compound. Some of the other guys decided to make the switch, the one required switch right now.
Kind of confused on what's happening. I think they're trying to go around and catch. Oh, these are the guys coming around to take their laps.
Yeah,
So they stayed out, coming around to take their laps. So they're gonna go around. So Ford will now lead the field.
yeah, Ford is going to be leading the field, coming to the green. It would be Ford, Discharge, Chesko, Blake, and Beast rounding out that top five right there. And yeah, as you can see, I think, yeah, like 4 out of the 5 cars in the top 5 are running on the reds. Beast is the only one in the top 5 that's running on blacks. A majority of the field is going to be running on reds for right now. As see what happens on this restart.
So I think Zed is going to wait on the field, is what it seems. He's gonna wait on the field. I think Ryder, Kimmy will go around and catch back to the tail. There will be no green this time. So they'll wait one more lap to go.
We'll have to wait until these 3 guys catch up to the pack, which the pack is currently.
I think Zed is gonna keep going.
Yeah, it looks like it. So now we're at 60 laps to go here. Got about 3 cautions here tonight, or sorry, 4 cautions here tonight.
Yeah, so Zed's gonna come around and catch. Ryder and Kimmy are close to the tail.
2 DNFs so far in the first 12 laps. Agent DNF pretty early on in the race. Slammed that outside wall coming to turn number 3.
It's very hard,
Flicks.
yeah, very hard crash. Really looking for the infield care center report on that one. That was very hard. It was a extremely hard hit.
Yeah, hard leg by Agent right there. Devastating end to his day. That was certainly a shocker for sure, because he was pretty much like the favorite coming in this one, and is the first car at DNF here. And it will be green this time. Risk Control is giving the word. It will be green this time. Ford will be leaning to the green, followed by Discharge, Chesko, Blake, and Beast.
All right, so Ford, Discharge, Chesko. I'd like to see if he could do it again. If he could do it again, he could put himself in a position where he could go challenge Ford. Chesko putting on a phenomenal performance so far in these first 12 laps. Discharge has led majority of the race so far, I think, behind Agent. Other than that, Discharge has led after Agent suffered that crash. Blake still contending up there. Beast staying around that top 5 area, moving around on tires, strategies bouncing around. Ollie starting to move up. Nico fell back a little bit on position. Anthony moved up a little bit, starting to move up a little bit in the pack. Or actually, he's back to where he was before, back behind everybody. Even elected to be behind the lapped cars.
Wow,
that just shows the what he's prioritizing.
Yeah, he's prioritizing safety over as of right now, he's prioritizing not getting safety
Yeah.
over the results right now, which is pretty smart because some of these guys are probably just gonna break it out early, and Anthony could be one of those guys that's gonna capitalize on if he plays his cards right.
Yeah, and then Dale and Zed got their laps back, and Ryder and Kimi remain a lap down. Ford has hit the zone. When does he go? Goes right away.
He's gonna go right away, and Blake is actually gonna get the jump on Chesko that time. And Blake is gonna hit that inside, side by side for third, as we come across that start finish line for the restart.
That was a really interesting go by Ford. I mean, they didn't really grab as much time as we've seen Discharge grab, but definitely caught him a little bit on the slower side of things. Chesko got jumped by Blake. This time a little bit of some opposite manias. A little bit in the back, we've got Dale making moves. Chesko looked for a move, but slotted right back in.
Yeah, 2x2. 2x2 back there for the, I believe that's the 7th position between Ollie. Oh, Zed to the outside wall. Zed is around. Zed might be done.
It's going to be a respawn. Caution not waved yet. There goes the caution.
Yeah, caution
Ford will remain in the lead. Zed will be DNF'd. He'll be out.
Zed is out. What an unfortunate event for Zed right there, as he was coming off of turn 6, I believe. It was side by side and just smacks that outside wall, and there goes his day right there. So now that's 3 cars out of the race. So now we have 11 cars left in the show, and only 13 laps in. But Ford will still be in the lead.
All right, so I believe Anthony's idea is paying off. He's even behind. He's even a little bit behind in the caution portion. I think his idea is pulling off. I think a little bit of guys should be trying that. I don't know. I mean, if you're Ford in Discharge, I guess you can stay up there. You know, the top 4 you can stay up there. It's that mid portion that stuff keeps happening. And I'm just like, you might as well try what he's doing.
Yeah, those guys in the mid, because what I've seen is that these guys in the front, they pull away from the rest of the pack, and then from 5th on, they just get packed up and they get very square with one another, and they get so tight with each other, and they're so much slower in the corners because they have to avoid each other at all costs. Because if
it's a big stack up, and then you got one person that's not really willing to stack up as much.
Yeah.
But see how this continues. Maybe now that we're down to 11 cars compared to the 14 that we started with, people will start to back up a little bit more. But you never know. So Zed will now be out. Command has been given. It will be green this time. Ryder, Kimi still remain a lap down. 3 cars out in the first 14 laps, 58 laps to go. Ford is your leader. Discharge 2nd, Blake 3rd, Chesko 4th, and Beast 5th. And just how about Chesko though? Unbelievable. Yeah, phenomenal so far in these first 14 laps. That jump being one, honestly, that was pretty crazy. I mean, to go around the outside, and there's been many, not just that, but there's been many outside moves pulled this race. I mean, it's quite crazy where these guys want to make moves, especially in some of the tightest sections. So I mean, the take is there, just not much of the give.
Yeah, Chesko was one of those guys. I'm very surprised with this race. Chesko he's not one of those guys I expect to be up here in the top 5 so early on in the race, but Chesko is definitely showing himself out there. Sitting in 4th right now. He's had some, like you said, some phenomenal restarts. That outside move, though.
Yeah, and we see
on the 2nd restart. But now, as we're about to come to the green, Discharge right now is in the Chip Ganassi sandwich between Ford and Blake right now.
And the report was given. Zed's crash being the cause was lag. Unfortunate. So it's going to be some things they look for later on in the weeks to try and figure out and fix, so they don't have to have these happen. So the last Arrow McLaren car left on the field will be Dale Camone and Ryder. One of those guys being a lap down, the other one not.
Yeah, it looks like the back of the pack is very spaced out from what I've seen. We got Kimi, Beast, Ryder. They're all taking Anthony's advice to heart, it seems like, because they're all spaced out in the back.
Oh, and Beast, sorry. These two.
Yeah, and it looks like the green flag is on the way. Ford is going to get that great jump on Discharge. What a jump by Ford.
That was a good jump by Ford. Better than it was last time. Blake actually got Blake kept with discharge. Oh, Ford really popped that curb there. Discharge with it a great turn one. Look at this run he's gonna have. Gonna pick up some slipstream from the back straightaway. See Chesko on Blake.
Looking to the outside, looking for third. His discharge looks like he's gonna go to the inside for the lead. Side by side hitting the turn 4. Looks like discharge is not gonna give, but unfortunately he's gonna have to.
Oh, very close to that wall.
And now the other Chip Ganassi car, Blake and Chesko, starting to catch along. And Chesko's gonna go pretty slow through turn number 9.
Honestly, gotta give it to them. There was a lot of good give in that double right hand section for how close they were. I was very surprised how much give they gave, and they were able to make it work. So that's just what it's got to come down to. It's only lap 15. You got 57 laps to go. A lot more give in the beginning of the race. Give it all, take at the end, and that's what they're starting to figure out a little bit more.
Yeah, it looks like Nico is about to pounce on Chesko for the 4th place spot, as now Blake is also catching discharge for 2nd, trying to challenge him for 2nd. And these guys are a lot more spread out than they were earlier in the race. At this point, they were all pretty much like packed up, but these guys have definitely learned. And it looks like someone is going to come down pit road. I believe that is Kimi. Kimi is going to come down pit road right now.
Kimi on pit road. We'll see what the call is. I think Ryder went down with him. Ryder also down pit road.
2 guys on pit road. It looks like
Ryder messed up a little bit. Had to pull up a little bit more forward to grab another pit box. Kimi's going to put on the reds. Ryder comes down for the reds as well.
Yeah, both of these guys switching to the reds early on. These guys are both a lap down, so there isn't really much that they could really lose from that.
Oh, contact. Chesko hard into the wall.
Oh,
no damage.
The wall by Chesko, lose a ton of positions.
There was a little bit.
Over side by side, heading in the tight corner.
There was a little bit of a battle between Chesko and Nico, and I think some disagreement happened coming up into that double right-hander. Nico got into the back of Chesko, and he went for the wall. Good thing at the speeds that they were going, there was not, that's the need for damage. See side by side. Nico gonna go for the move. Ahead at the apex, shoots down into the corner, smacks the wall.
Looking for the crossover by Dale, but it looks like they're about side by side, just exiting the Dan Weldon drive. As now they're heading to the final corner. Nico's going to get on that curb, but Dale's going to get the crossover move on the inside, side by side for, I believe that's the 4th position.
Gonna pull back behind him.
Chesko is trailing behind as you guys are 9 seconds back among the leader. Now they're side by side in the turn number 1. Chesko is trailing right behind them.
Really tight between these two. They're still battling.
Yeah, they were side by side, almost side by side in the first drive, but it looks like Nico might go for that position. He's gonna dive it down there.
Chesko waiting for the mistake. A little bit of contact there.
Side. And Chesko
almost made it 3 wide. Oh, Dale pops the wall.
Chesko was looking for that 3 wide maneuver, but I think he realized that it wouldn't really worked out so well. And it looks like Chesko
Chesko looked for it. He did indeed look for that move right there.
He looked for it, but I think he realized that Dale was not going to get... Oh, the contact heading into turn number 11 here. Side by side. Pound on each other. As they head into the little chicane bit.
Oh, there was an issue. Discharge now in the lead. Ford had a problem somewhere. He fell to 3rd.
Ford fell to 3rd. We'll have to see what happened there, but as of right now, it looks like Ford and Blake might be slowly catching discharge.
The battle is with Chesko and Dale. These guys are going at it.
Yeah, these guys are.
I think a mistake. Yeah,
4th right now.
Mistake. When push comes to shove, the mistake happened. Nico actually ended up breaking away from these two, and he's kind of on his own now.
Yeah, Beast is actually going to end up catching him, but it looks like Chesko is kind of pulled away from Dale for the time being. But it looks like Ford is about to catch Blake. We might have a battle for 2nd raging on here momentarily between the Chip Ganassi cars.
Yeah, whatever mistake happened with Ford, he's definitely looking to rebound off of that, because that seems to be drastic. He was in the lead by 0.8. Now sits 5.2 seconds behind discharge.
Yeah, as now around about turns 12 and 13, heading to turn 14. And
really
Ford
good final corner by Ford.
Bottom a little bit, but I think Blake is going to get that better exit as he was running that outside line. The Ford might get in the slipstream though as we come into turn number 1.
Yeah, you saw the
53
pull.
laps to go.
You saw the pull that Ford got at the end of the straightaway, but that early drive off that Blake got. What a corner by Ford. He's actually gonna go
outside,
drive
going
right
for
past.
second.
I think Blake
Looks
actually
like-
gave it to him.
Yeah, I think Blake is just gonna allow Ford to catch discharge so they can battle it out. So it seems like his discharge is now currently just pulling away as a 6-second lead as he is coming on the double right-hander. Oh, Blake with a little bit of smoke at the back of him.
Yeah,
Come
something
off
in that
turn
section
7
causing
there.
some smoke pop up from a lot of drivers. So see what the tires look like.
There might be a bump there. That could be what the issue is, as it looks like.
See Ryder looking for a move on Ollie.
Yeah, Ryder and Ollie. I believe this is actually no. Ryder is a lap down, so this is not for position.
A little bit of a bump there by Ryder. Popped the front end up. So I like the strategy call. Looking at the strategy call, they pitted.
Oh, Ford is around. Ford is around. Oh wait, Ford is sitting in the middle, not in the middle, but on the outside of turn 11. Now we're gonna show what happened with Ford there.
Might be lag. I'm not sure. No damage. We'll see what happens. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, as now Nico is gonna take third, as he is now gonna try and catch Blake for that second place position. As Discharge is now pulled away 8 seconds on Blake.
Yeah, Discharge just putting things together here. Ford's still sitting there. We'll see what race control has to say about that. There might be some issues going on with the car. Race control giving them time to get it back going, but something's going on.
Beast is looking for 5th on Dale Camon right now as they're going to head into turn number 4, coming off the first drive. Heading into that double number 4, 5th, and then 6 and 7. Here they go. As they now head into double right-hander, it looks like Beast is trying behind for the time being. He's going to let Dale Camon go out a little bit. Dale Camon's going to actually pop that inside barrier in turn number 9. Give it a little slow off exit. It's going to give Beast a chance to rally, catch him back up.
See Anthony starting to get into the mix. Anthony kind of just keeping everything clean. He's been doing good at that, but eventually you've got to say, when's the time to switch that and go? Because if this runs green to the end, which honestly it does have a shot to run green to the end, Anthony's going to need to start going now. And, you know, that time's going to be up soon. And I think he started to switch that on a little bit. He started to put more pace as the cars see Dale come down.
A lap down. He's actually right behind Discharge, 1 lap down due to, I believe it was a lag issue. But now Discharge is still pulling away from Blake as it's 8.2 the gap it's this time by. As Anthony is going to hit the curb this time, almost kind of spun out there, but kept the car going. Good job by Anthony as he's going to head down in the first drive right behind Beast as they're going to head into turn number 4. And I think we're looking for that 5th place spot right here as trying to trail down. And it looks like Nico is actually about to catch Blake.
Some pretty good rotation that I saw out of Anthony coming over those curves. Oh, Anthony. Oh.
What happened with Anthony there?
I think he might have got a key stuck. Something happened. That is unfortunate. A lot of mechanical issues so far. Over the recent laps, a lot of mechanical issues. Discharge still extending that gap, smacks the wall there. These mistakes aren't really, you know, hurting him as much. You know, gap goes from 8.28 to 1150.
Yeah, as Nico is now catching Blake right now, so we could have a battle for second range on momentarily. As now Chesko is a little ways behind, 18 seconds behind.
If I was Ford, Kimmy, or Ryder, I'd be hoping for a caution. Because right now everybody's spread out, or a mistake to happen, something's got to go. Because, you know, right now it doesn't look like much of a caution.
Pop the wall off the exit at turn A. He's going to go through turn 9 pretty smoothly. As now, oh wait, we might have a battle rage on between Ali and Dale Camon for the 7th place spot. As these guys are,
currently
they're about 50 seconds back.
7th.
Yeah, for 7th. Dale's going to send it inside.
Huge send.
Huge send right there. Contact with both of these guys.
And he'll get the spot. I'm not sure how he will feel about that. Huge crash.
Almost up and over. Dale's around. Big crash by Dale.
Unbelievable. I would love to see how that happened. That
I think Dale just stopped turning. I'm not sure what happened. I think Dale might have just had like a lag issue or something. The car just didn't turn coming off the exit, smacked that outside wall, was riding the wall for a good maybe like 2 to 3 seconds, and then now back down the ground as we're under caution. Discharge is gonna get the lead as we see the debris just passing the debris that Dale Camone is left behind.
and there's the caution that they were wanting. So now caution
Yeah,
flies. Dale's gonna be in a up now he's
Dale is
DNF. So
out.
Dale's gonna be out of the race. That leaves 10 drivers remaining.
Yeah, this is gonna be good for guys like Ford, Ryder, and Kimmy. Those guys are a lap down, so these guys could get the lap back under this caution. This is the caution that these guys were hoping for. So now, with this caution, everyone is gonna be pretty much back in the running.
That was
We'll see
scary.
who comes down pit road this time, as we'll see who decide to see who the takers are for this time being. So now Blake is up there in second. Nico up there in third. Cheska back there in fourth. Beast in fifth. And pits will be open this time by. So we'll see who will take the takers are this time by.
Yeah, that was very, very scary.
That
was a
huge
vicious,
hit for
vicious
Dale.
crash. I mean,
It was on his
I think
side.
4 tires were up. The 4 tires were up off the ground, and he was like, his halo was on the fence almost.
Yeah, it was grinding. It was grinding the catch fence for at least a good like couple seconds, and then got back down.
All right, so pits open. Many drivers have ran their tires for a good amount of laps. Ford, Kimmy, Ryder. I'm assuming most of them would stay out here, probably grab their laps back, and then if it were to cycle out, Ford would be ahead of all the lapped cars. So we'll see what happens. Ford, he's actually gonna pit. Never mind, he's gonna stay out. Yeah, that would make the sense. Yeah, that would make the most sense. Stay out, grab the lap back. So all 3 of these guys are gonna stay out, grab the lap back. They're gonna go around and go catch the tail end.
Now we'll see who changes the compounds, or we'll see who comes off of pit road first, as Beast is the first to enter his box.
Keep in mind, Discharge still has to make it to the blacks.
Yeah, Discharge does still have to make the switch. He's on very low tires, and he's gonna take that first stall, and Cheska will fall right behind as Blake is now off of pit road. And it looks like it could be a tight one, but it looks like Discharge is gonna win the race off of pit road, followed by Blake. It's gonna be close, but I think Chesko is gonna get that. Yeah, Chesko's gonna get third, Beast fourth, Nico fifth, Anthony sixth, and Ollie is gonna round out seventh.
Discharge did indeed make the switch, so it goes Discharge.
Blake also made a switch to the blacks as well. Chesko is gonna remain on the reds. Beast went to the blacks. Nico, I believe, is still on the reds.
Honestly, I can't blame most of these guys who want to stay on the reds. With how the race is going, with these, cautions being at certain intervals, these consistent 8 to 10 lap intervals, or these 6 to 8 lap intervals, staying on the reds probably wouldn't be the worst, strategy. But then there's that moment like, oh, now it's running green. Now you got to make that switch, and you're on the slower. You're at this point where you're slower than everybody. And, the switch would have been better earlier. So that's just the price that you pay later on in the race. You're like, oh, I should have done that. So, we'll see what happens.
And again, though, Chesko could be running faster laps since he's on the faster tires. So Chesko could try and, if Chesko would, he could try and pull away from the leaders and try and get that big lead. So that when he comes down pit road, he doesn't lose that much time off of the guys that are running the blacks.
It is a big guessing game. Gotta just take what your gut. Can't really know when the cautions are going to come out, if a caution will come out. So taking with your gut is probably the best answer. And Chesko's going to remain on the reds, same as well as Nico. Anthony's also going to have the reds, I believe. Or no,
Anthony's just trailing behind the pack as usual. Anthony is still unsure of what the pack is capable of.
And lapped cars coming around. Kimmy going to be on the reds. Ryder is going to be on the reds. And Ford as well on the reds. So Ford actually made the back of the pack. I think Ryder's also going to make it. See Anthony once again letting by everybody. I think Ryder's also going to make it. I think Kimmy will just miss it.
I think we might go green this time by. I think everyone is actually just going to be able to make it.
Coming to the green. Discharge has reached the zone.
Here we go. Coming to the green.
I believe it was GNT.
Yeah, it might be
Yeah, it
GNT.
was.
Oh no,
Oh
wait.
no, the late go. Very
A
late go
late
by
go from
Discharge.
Discharge. Chesko with the run. He's gonna go for second. He's gonna
An-
get second off of Blake.
Another jump by Chesko off the restart. See a lot of guys
Oh,
jostling for
four.
position.
Three
Ford,
wide.
huge
Ford.
dive down the inside. Clear. That's
Huge.
like 3-4 positions in one turn. That was amazing by Ford. Phenomenal. Down into turn
Yeah.
one.
But then again, there was another thing to keep in mind. Ford is on older tires and the older red tires, so he's actually going to be like.
Oh, almost a crash in the back. Ryder went for a big deep dive down on the inside of Anthony. Second guessed it. Almost crashed into the back of him. Good avoidance by Ryder right there to not cause that incident. See Ali on the inside. Ali given the position very tight through the double right-hand section. Ryder's going to try and go around the outside. He's going to let up another position. That was very tight. We're able to sort it out.
Yeah, good job by these guys. Able to sort it out. Kimmy's trying back there.
Look at Ford. Already up to 4th place.
Yeah, Ford is making big moves right now. He is on the older tires, so he is taking phenomenal advantage of this right now. He's on the reds. A lot of these guys ahead of him are going to be on the black, so he's going to swoop right by most of these guys. Chess goes around! Chess going into the outside wall.
No damage. He saves it. They will stay green.
Stay green. Good. I mean, like we said before, that is that inside curve that's going to get that bump on you. Chesko lost it, but very lucky for Chesko that he managed to, that he didn't suffer any damage from that.
Ford very wide in turn one.
So now Chesko is going to be falling back to 6th after that.
That very much did play in Ford's favor. Got the caution, came back on the lead lap. Everybody made a mistake down into 1, grabbed all those positions, and now he is currently sitting in 3rd. Mistake by Blake. Ford almost runs into the back of him.
Yeah, Ford looking for 2nd on his Chip Ganassi teammate right now.
I think Blake was trying to give the position right there after he made the mistake, so don't think Ford realized that. Now Blake runs wide.
To the inside.
And Blake is going to give the position again, so Ford now into 2nd. Now he's got to see if he can chase down Discharge, who is on the primaries.
Anthony now looking for the spot on Chesko. This is for 6th right now, side by side for 6th. Chesko's going to let Anthony go by as Ryder and Ali are going to actually start to catch up Chesko. Chesko seems to be losing pace on the field right now. Had a phenomenal first run and is now starting to fall back on the field. It looks like Chesko's going to round out that corner. Going to do pretty solid here. Ford is going to come down pit road, actually.
So Ford comes down.
Ford looks like he might make the switch to blacks, maybe, or is he going to get a new set of reds? See what the call is for the Chip Ganassi 10 team. Looks
and
like
it's going to be a red.
Staying on the reds, just gets a new set of reds and a little bit of fuel.
Oh, crash.
Oh,
Ryder.
Around he goes. Can he keep the car going?
Caution will wave. That is something that Ford wanted to see.
Oh,
perfect timing for Ford to come down, take the reds. Now he's going to be on fresh tires compared to these guys on blacks.
Yeah, Ryder is like, he had a bump, spun out into the outside wall. He didn't suffer any too much damage. Didn't suffer any wheel damage, just a little bit of back end damage. But I think he will be able to get a respawn. As of right now, Discharge is currently the leader. And like you said before, yeah, that was phenomenal by Ford. And it looks like Ryder will get another drive-through penalty for that incident. Does get a respawn though, but he has to serve another drive-through penalty. One more drive-through penalty for Ryder, and he will be disqualified from the race. So Ryder's got to be really careful to not suffer that DSQ. As now Ford is coming back. Right behind Kimmy. As we'll see if pits are open this time. And pits will be open, so we'll see who the takers are. Everyone is on the lead lap. So we'll see. It looks like Discharge will be coming down. Discharge comes down.
It was almost a second guess right there by Discharge. Saw the wiggle. Was thinking about staying out. Stayed in. Ford could not be any happier right now to be where he is. And I think Discharge, seeing Ford on the reds, might come down and take a set of reds himself.
Yeah, it could be. And it looks like Beast has now just come off the pit box. Discharge always taking that first stall. Chesko following suit. We'll see what these guys take as Beast and Anthony are rapidly approaching.
And yep, Discharge does indeed take the reds.
Ooh, contact between Chesko and Beast off of pit road, but Beast will get second.
As you hear, Nico has yet to change his set of tires from the reds. He still has to take that time, that pit stop, to change to the second compound, being the primaries. I think with the cautions, I've said it, that caution that's making people think, oh yeah, we're gonna stay on this tire, we're gonna wait, and we're gonna have all these cautions, one caution after another. We'll wait and we'll see what we do. And I think that's what Nico and that team is gonna do, and they're gonna keep on staying on those reds, and they're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's gonna be like, I mean, based off what we've seen so far, there isn't like that much long green flag pit stops today. So I wouldn't be surprised once everyone makes the required compound switch. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these guys are gonna be running the reds for the remainder of the race. The flying gets dark enough race to be called early by driver vote, as race control just announced.
Sun's starting to set. I think that's giving the worries. We still got 44 laps to go. Have not reached halfway yet, so I think that's starting to give race control some worries. As the sun is setting, you can see it a little bit darker on some parts of the track than it was before. So now that's going to give these guys a different set of mind. Now I got to get to the lead. If it does get to that point where the race could possibly end, not at the checkered.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's a race against the clock. It's a race against the drivers. I mean, these drivers have a lot on them right now. They got to race against each other. Got to keep the car clean, and they also got to race against the clock because it looks like sunset is not too far away. As now Blake, who has elected to stay out, will be taking the lead coming to the green, followed by Nico.
Oh, a little bit of contact right there, Anthony in the wall.
Oh my.
All right, Blake will start us back. Command has been given that it will be green this time. Blake has reached the zone. Blake in the zone. When does he go?
We'll see when
and we're going. We're under green. Oh, Nico in the grass. Sliding in the wall, up in the air.
Nico's around. That's going to be it for Nico.
Discharge sliding. Trying to keep it nice and clean off the wall. Does he?
Oh,
he does. Nice and close to the wall. Good save by Discharge. But Nico,
a good save. Nico might be out because of that. I think Blake got that jump off the corner, and I guess the guys behind him they just went. And Nico just didn't get going.
Nico tried to stick with him as much as possible. Obviously didn't get the jump with him. Tried to get as much time as he could. Tried to cut it close. Got in the grass. And just too many things happened at once. Ford ran into the back of him and caused him to slide into the outside. Well, obviously, unfortunate things that, this is just early season. Good things, these things happen early season. Things that you work on, you come back later and you don't do it again. So that will be something that they'll look at. They'll obviously discuss it. Obviously disappointing for him. That leaves 9 drivers left in the running. Ryder being lapped down. That leaves 8 on the lead lap. Ford in second. Blake, Chip Ganassi 1, 2. You got Beast. So yeah.
Beast up. And Chesko is still running up there pretty solid. He's up there in the 3rd position right now. Chesko is by far having a pretty all-star performance today as
especially on those restarts.
The top 3. Yeah, especially on those restarts. Having star performance all day today. Very solid run by him. As the 2 Chip Ganassi cars will be leading the field to the green. That's another thing we have to keep an eye on the restarts, because like we just saw with Nico, if you don't get going, the guy behind you is just going to run the back of you and you're going to go around. I mean, that's what happened just moments ago with Nico. So these guys are going to be more careful on the restarts. These guys are going to time the restarts pretty much like near perfection.
All right, Blake still in the lead. Ford second, Chesko third, Kimi fourth. Good run back for Kimi and Ford both at the same time. And Ali 5th. Good run for Ali, staying alive. Now he's going to be in the top 5. And Discharge back in 7th after facing, there's a little bit of collaboration in that incident. But
another driver we haven't really talked about much today is Kimi. Kimi's up there in the top 5 right now. We've seen him. He's been running around the mid to back.
And we're green. Blake is back going. Restart is underway.
Green flag is on the way. Kimi's going to go way inside. Ryder's going to, I think he's going to serve his drive-through penalty right now.
So Ryder's going to quickly serve that drive-through penalty. Just in case another caution comes out, he does not have to worry about another drive-through penalty. See Blake hop the curb. A little bit of little bit of slide coming out of turn 1. Got a better exit than Ford. See Chesko still running 3rd.
Side by side between Ollie and Discharge for 5th. Discharge is going to give the way for right now, but it looks like Ollie is actually going to give the position back to Discharge, as Discharge is on the faster set of tires. And actually, with Nico DNFing, everyone has already made. Oh, and
Ollie in the wall, a little bit of damage.
Ollie's around.
He's got the rear end. He's got the rear wing damage. No suspension. He's gonna be good. The caution will wave. Just waiting on it. And there it is. The caution is out.
Caution's back out. Anthony is back there as well as now. Well, now this is good for Ryder because Ryder has.
Very good call by that team to come down, serve it off of the restart. They saw that happening. Ollie actually ran. Ollie ran a little bit wide there, and I think it was Beast who kind of tagged him. Just nowhere for Beast to go. Or I think it was Discharge. Discharge tagged him. Nowhere. It just everything happened so fast. You kind of just gotta let it happen. So unfortunate for that team. They'll have to serve that drive-through, especially for a driver that's been pretty clean all race. Now they'll have to go on a serve drive-through. They might try and pull a rider.
As I was saying before that restart or before the crash happened with Nico DNFing, now everyone has already made the requirement compound switch. So now these guys, it'll be interesting where they go. Would they stay on the blacks? Will they go to the reds? Vice versa. So we'll see. I mean, with these rapid cautions, with these cautions having every few laps, these guys might want to make the switch to the reds, or they'll probably go with the blacks, and we'll see if they get a long green flag run here. So it'll be interesting to see where they stand on a tire compound this time. As right now the two Chip Ganassi cars are out front, pretty much just keeping the field on lock right behind them. Discharge is actually back there in 5th. And as race control has just announced, all drivers have completed the compound change. So we'll see where they stand on compounds under this caution and future cautions or future pit stops to come. It looks like we're gonna go green this time. It'll be a quick caution.
Both field that's caught up. Blake still in the lead. Ford 2nd, Chesko 3rd. Beast 4th. Discharge made his way up to 5th. Kimmy back in 6th. Anthony 7th, and Ollie 8th. Off of that caution, we'll have to serve the drive-through rider a lap down.
Ryder is still being a lap down. So have to hope for a caution to come out so he can get that lap back. And Anthony is still trailing behind. He's playing the strategy of staying behind and let the field sort it out. And it's paid off for Anthony so far because 5 of the 14 cars so far have DNF'd. But now it's going to be a Chip Ganassi 1-2 as we come to the restart here. Chesko still having a pretty good performance today up there in 3rd with Beast in 4th and Discharge rounding out the top 5. Kimmy back there in 6th. We haven't really talked about no more FCI. All right. Full course yells. So it looks like to limit the amount of cautions, if you get wing damage, not going to throw the yellow. Just going to have to respawn. But I've already talked about Kimmy much today, as Kimmy has pretty much been running the back, running mid-pack pretty much all race. Just kept the car clean pretty much for the most part. So we'll see how the number 15.
Well, just saying, we still haven't reached halfway, so we'll just see how these guys understand. I still haven't understood that the cautions are still flying, but Blake comes back to the restart zone, and we are back going. Restart is underway, and we are back green. Chesko that time did not get that jump that he's always been getting. Everybody's going to be single file slotted in line.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be packed up from about 3rd to 7th. And it looks like Discharge is actually going to get a drive-through penalty for jumping the restart. Discharge to the outside of Beast.
Well, now you shouldn't care. Now you should just go for positions that you can get, because now you've got to try and gain as much time so you don't lose that much time when you come down and take that drive-through. Very unfortunate, especially for somebody that's been, exerting a lot of speed, as Ford's going to go for the inside of Blake.
Full contact side by side for the lead as they come into turn number 6 and 7. Still getting a little bit of contact as they enter the double right-hander.
Ford trying to utilize those alternates. He does. Clear for the lead goes forward. Now he's going to try and drive away on those tires.
Heading down Bay Shore Drive as Ford, Blake, and Chesko are now starting to pull away from the remainder of the pack as Beast and Discharge now battling it for the 4th spot. As they now head into turn number 11, heading down Dan Weldon Drive. As Ford is still going to exert his lead, Blake might be trying to trail him down. As Chesko is now going to fall back. Beast looking to eat him up for 3rd. Beast going around. Discharge is going to go to the inside, but it looks like he's going to back off for the time being. Looks like Discharge is
going to serve that
down,
drive through this lap.
Looking to serve it this time by. It's now Ford. Still in the lead. Blake trying to trail behind him. 1.15 seconds behind the leader as Chesko and Beast are now slowly trying to catch that field.
How about Beast? Very questionable start of the race. You know, he was trying to figure it out, I would assume. You know, he's a little bit down the pack, maybe, outside the top 5. Now points his way in the top 3, looking to pass for 2nd, or trying to pass for 2nd on those alternates. So good comeback for Beast later on in this race. And coming up to the halfway, both Ali and Discharge have officially served their drive-through. So now they're just going to be looking for another caution. Oh, Beast absolutely smacks the wall.
Oh, hard hit for Beast. Now he's going to lose a lot of time on Chesko right there. Beast is another one of those guys that seem to be like a heavy hitter coming in this one. He's running the top 4 right now, so he's doing pretty solid for himself. But we'll see how he performs throughout the remainder of the race. As now Ryder is actually up there. He's actually a lap down, so it would actually give Kimi the 5th place position. So it's actually Kimi and Anthony vying for 5th right now, as Anthony is slowly trying to reel in Kimi for that 5th place spot. Anthony has been staying in the back, same as Kimi. Both of these guys have been staying in the back pretty much the entire race. Now fighting for a top 5 spot as they head into turn number 1. Yeah, it looks like Anthony's going to get by Kimi for 5th. As it looks like Chesko might be trying to catch Blake for 2nd. We could have a battle rage on for 2nd momentarily, but Beast is also trying to catch Chesko right here. Ford rounding out the 2, rounding out the double right-handers. Still pulling away from his Chip Ganassi teammate Blake, as Ford is actually, I believe he's on the fresher. Yeah, Ford is on the fresher and faster tires than Blake.
Yeah, a lot of things fell perfectly into Ford's hands there with that caution coming out after he pitted. Now, all those other cautions allowing him to, keep position as well as gain position. And then, eventually this caution went back green, and now he's in the lead, pulling that gap, now 3.2 seconds.
Yeah, Anthony actually just got by the lap car Ryder. Anthony up here in the top 4. This is the first time we've seen Anthony pretty much up here all day. He's actually up here, and I believe he's in the top. Yeah, he's still in the top 5 right now, trying to reel in Beast, who is on the. I believe he's on the other. Yeah, he's actually no, he's on the same compound as him. Both on similar red compounds.
Oh, Anthony popped the bump hard to the wall.
Anthony outside wall. That is a heartbreaker for Anthony, as he has smacks that wall, losing his left rear, and the caution will fly out. See if Anthony will get a respawn here. Now Ryder, Ali,
Anthony will be DNF, so that leaves 8 cars remaining in the running.
And we're not even like halfway through the race. Actually, we're just about halfway through the race right now.
Halfway, so in the span of being 8, almost half the field has DNF in the first half of the race. So
yeah, these guys gotta be way more careful for the remainder of the run. Now these guys, gotta know what to do from here. 2 Chip Ganassi cars are still running at the top 2 right now. Pretty good job by Chip Ganassi bringing 2 fast IndyCars out here this weekend. As now we'll see if pits are open this time by. Oh no, they're not. They're actually gonna go green this time by.
Very good jump for Ford. Chesko got another jump on the 2nd place driver. He's actually going to move up and clear Blake for 2nd.
Well, that's actually a big move by Chesko. Blake is actually going to start gaining him a little bit, but It looks like pits are closed under yellow. Sun is setting. So it looks like we're only going to have green flag pit stops for the remainder of the race.
That's a big worry for some of these guys. Ford being on the faster compound, these guys are going to have to start to go. Ford, he hears it too. They gave him the
contact between Blake and Chesko for second. Chesko is now up here second, but we'll see if Blake can round about, as these guys are actually on the primaries on the black compounds. So these guys are actually going to be a little bit slower.
Beast smacks the inside wall. Almost a wreck in the back. That was very tight between Discharge, Beast, and Ryder. Luckily, they sorted it out.
Here for... Now, this is actually kind of bad news for guys like Ryder and Ali, who, you know, they won't be able to get that lap back, really.
Discharge around the outside of Ryder. Move him up into no position, actually, sorry.
Yeah, Ryder and Ali are still a lap down, so tough week for those guys. We don't know if those guys will be able to get the laps back, but Discharge is now trying to reel in. He's on the faster red compounds. He's going to try and reel in the other two guys on the on blacks.
So Beast is going to come down and pit. He's going to take a tire set. I would assume he would go for the reds.
Yeah, we'll see what the 17 team makes the call of. Looks like
he does go for the reds.
We're going to see the reds just coming down for another set. As now, it looks like Blake has caught back up to Chesko for second. He's going to look to the outside, heading to turn number 4. Now the inside.
Ooh, very dangerous. Almost at the inside wall. I mean, he did hit the inside wall. Chesko still cleared him. I think Blake actually gave him a little bit of room there. That was very close between the two.
Chesko is still running great performance today, as he's now up to second. Blake might get the run on him. He's going to go to the outside. He's going to go to the outside here.
Watch Discharge. Remember, he's on those alternates. He's got that faster compound. So if these guys get into it, Discharge can come right around. Blake around the outside. What a move. Clear. Puts him up into second. Here comes Discharge.
Discharge reeled them both in. Discharge might be looking for a move on Chesko.
Very close.
Inside. Discharge is going to file behind Chesko for the time being. Chesko gets on the apron, not the apron, the curb, a little loose there, but
actually kind of helped him.
Yeah, that actually kind of helped him.
It took a lot of give from Discharge in those S's to not run into the back of Chesko, which honestly we haven't seen much of, but that could have ended really bad if Discharge didn't have that give. Look at that curb ride. Good rotation. Oh, smacks Chesko. I'm not sure how Chesko's going to feel about that.
Chesko might not be too pleased with that.
Chesko did run it. Chesko did run it wide, but Discharge did kind of pound him. But we'll see how they figure that out. Not sure if Chesko's really going to mind that too much. Discharge now moves up into third. Going to go down and chase Blake.
They'll try and chase him down for second, as now Ford has pulled nearly a 7-second gap over Blake. Discharge is actually trying to reel in Blake. If Discharge can get by Blake here, Discharge can try and run down Ford for the time being until those guys have to make the pit later on in the race.
Sun is setting to a point where it's going to be quite questionable. When will the caution be thrown for the time of the day? Sun is starting to get below the horizon. See the track starting to get darker. See the shade starting to get in.
Yeah, as we inch closer, these guys might not even make it to the checkered flag. We might have to pull the race. We have to end the race a little earlier than scheduled, but as the sun is sailing over St. Petersburg.
So Discharge actually gained a couple tenths that lap. He's going to make his way onto Blake. Now, fighting your way around a Chip Ganassi teammate, because remember, both Ford and Blake are Chip Ganassi teammates. So fighting his way around him is going to be extremely hard, only because he's going to defend as much as he can. Knowing Discharge is on that faster tire, knowing Discharge is one of the fastest on the track right now, trying to chase down the leader, Blake is going to try his hardest to keep Discharge behind, but also being on those primaries makes it extremely difficult.
Yeah, as it looks like Ford is now just coming around double right-hander, as Discharge is now stuck behind Blake for the time being. Discharge, contact a little bit.
He was too close to even make a move, but you could just see through that section the sheer grip difference that they had. Discharge could actually wrap that inside section, the middle section, more than Blake could. Blake actually had to give a lot more, and you see just coming out of this corner too, the grip difference. Discharge actually has a run coming into the S's, so it might be a move possible down to 1.
Yeah, potentially, as Blake is going to try and play defensive here, as he, Blake is going to try and defend for his teammate, as he knows that Discharge is also on those faster compounds. So we'll be interested to see what Blake does heading to turn number 1 here. If he's just gonna leave weighted discharge, or if he's gonna actually try and fight for it. But right now, behind them, Chesko still running pretty solid. Ryder gets into the back of Chesko. Ryder, 1 lap down, is actually fighting the lead lap cars. Ryder has actually slowly been making his way up, despite being a lap down.
This is where it happens. This crossover section.
Here
Discharge trying it. Here he goes around the outside. He got that crossover. He's going to try around the outside. He's going to try and pinch him on the inside here.
The double header where
they're trying to give to each other. Oh, Discharge! Oh, contact! Very lucky not to receive damage there. Discharge really pinched him. Tried to make Blake back out. Blake did not back out. He did not give Discharge even an inch, and it costed Discharge. Really shows that risk. You see Ryder and Chesko having a lot going on here.
Yeah, I think Ryder's trying to down and is battling Chesko right now. But yeah, like we said before, in turn 9, that was like the tightest corner in the entire track. Very little room to give. And Discharge was just kind of pinning Blake down there. Ultimately paid the price. Discharge went up in the outside wall. Luckily, very luckily, he did not suffer any damage, or his race didn't end right there. But
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Discharge is a little bit agitated right now, trying to fight his way around Blake. But Blake's just doing what a teammate does. You know, Blake knows his teammate is on the faster tire. They know that he isn't going to be as fast as Ford, but he can still defend as best as he can to keep his position, because at the end of the day, they are teammates. And Discharge trying to fight his hardest. Blake doing a really good job on defense, as Discharge actually smacks the inside wall there.
Discharge actually getting a little wobbly through those S's right there, as now Blake heads into turns 8 and 9. As Ford is still pulling away. Blake is actually trying to...
Discharge smacks the wall, sliding again.
Oh, roundy sliding, but keeps the car straight. Good job by Discharge.
See, Ryder made a mistake there. Had to run a little bit wide.
Yeah, Ryder's doing a pretty solid job right now. Despite being a lap down, he's still putting up a pretty solid fight against the lead lap cars. But now it looks like he's let Chesko go. He's gonna let Chesko go ahead and try and catch the leaders. But unfortunately, Chesko is on the black compact or primaries, so.
Now remember, cautions have happened for the situation of bumps. You know, constant bumps around the track, constant drivers constantly hitting them. There is a shot.
If the sun turns to rising, it's going to be a 2 to go.
Now drivers have got to go. Discharge has got to find his way around Blake if he even wants a shot to get close to Ford. And Blake knows, if I'm not going to win, I might as well help my teammates. So he's going to stay on the defensive side of things for as long as possible. If caution comes out, he's still going to be defensive. But Discharge has to find his way around them. He had the shot down into 1, and that was a really good shot that he took. And especially down on the outside, going into the double right-hander, it was a really good chance and really good risk that he took, as well as trying to pinch him. But that pinch ended up costing him at the end.
Yeah, there's Discharge is going to wrap around. Discharge actually does a pretty solid job in the last corner, wrapping around the inside, getting that good exit. But Blake obviously is on the slower compound, so he won't be able to wrap the corner as well as Discharge.
15 seconds back, and they're running out of time. We would say they got at least like 5, maybe 10 minutes left for that sun touches the horizon.
Yeah, these guys are on the clock right now. If Blake keeps up holding up Discharge, I think it's just Ford's race to lose, honestly, unless the caution comes out. As of right now, Ford is actually just exiting the double right.
Good corner by Discharge. He's gonna have a shot at Blake here.
Oh, here we go. Heading into the double right-hander. I don't know if he's going to make a move here. He might try and trail behind for the time being.
Learn from last time.
Yeah, it didn't work last time.
Smacks the wall again.
They'll lose a little bit of time right there as trailing right behind Blake, as now they're going to head down Bayshore Drive, heading down to turn number 11. Blake doing a solid job.
That was a really good corner by Blake, if I had to say, especially fighting somebody on the reds. That was a really good corner. Even saw the drive off compared to Discharge. A little bit wide into the final corner. Oh, Discharge pops up, smacks the wall.
Oh my goodness, that was
And
two
once
times now. Discharge
again,
just smacked the wall and almost DNF.
he's gonna
And now
come down for
coming up pit road.
tires.
He's gonna come. He's gonna try and get some new tires in.
And once again, it's the mistakes, the bumps, costing Discharge. Now that progress that he had made, he's reset again. Now he has to try and find a different alternate way, and he's gonna come down and pit early, just in case a caution were to come out.
He comes down as well.
See Ford smacking the wall. Tires are starting to get to everybody.
Yeah, as Beast now comes down pit road. He was battling with Ali for a couple laps, although Ali was a lap down. But now it looks like Blake is still 15 seconds back. But now he doesn't have to worry about defending Discharge anymore. Now he can just run. He's on those. He's on the primary, so he can try and run it out to the end.
Discharge back out of pit road. Took the alternates. Jumped onto the alternates. He's gonna stay with the same strategy. Now he's gonna have to try and cash all that time back that he had lost from that mistake that he made.
Oh, Ford is now coming down pit road. Ford's gonna make the call.
So Ford comes down pit road. The time I'm looking at is the time between Discharge and Ford. When Ford comes out of pit road, Discharge pops the wall again. But when Ford comes out of pit road, I want to watch the gap difference. See, he just comes across the line. Blake stays out again. So Blake is going to run these blacks, and he's going to try for a late race run, I would assume.
I think for Ford, he's going to actually have a longer pit stop since Ford had to stay out a bit longer. But we'll see. I don't think it's gonna be enough though, as Discharge just come out the front corner and Ford just exit pit road. So
Discharge has got a lot to catch. These guys are pretty much racing against the clock, racing against that sun. Discharge has got to find some way to get back to Ford. He's got to put laps together here. But the one thing that Ford has over Discharge is that lap advantage on tires, which we see tires falling off pretty quickly. He has that lap advantage. Discharge popped the wall again.
Yeah, Blake is trying to go for a long race run, but unfortunately, though, it's only time will tell until Ford reels him in as the sun is getting closer to the horizon. Blake is on those slower, older tires, as Ford is now on fresh sets. Ford is just
now what we could see happen is Blake run this as far and as long as possible as he can and wait to see if that sun hits the horizon. If that sun hits the horizon, remember the 2 to go does get thrown. That 2 to go could give Blake, as he comes down in pits. I was wrong. He comes down in pits, so Blake is gonna probably come down and take. It would be pretty interesting if he took the reds, but as well the blacks would make it the longest. So we'll see what he chooses.
Chesko's gonna come down as well. Chesko's gonna follow Blake,
and Blake is down on pit road. Ford has passed him. Blake, caution! Caution's out. Oh, Shank, huge crash.
Oh, Ali is around. Discharge is around as well. Ali might be done. Yeah, Ali is DNF. Discharge was also spun around as well.
And that's the left front gone. Unfortunate for Ali. I mean, keeping the car clean all race just came down to the attrition. I guess a mistake might have been made, and that's gonna be it for him.
There's a pivotal caution because it happened right as we're doing green flag pit stops. Now, unfortunately, there's going to be no pit stops under yellow due to the time constraint. But
and the ticker, I believe the ticker is going to show 2 to go. Oh, just a reset.
Yeah, it looks like
so we still have time until the sun hits the horizon. This saves drivers like Discharge who caught that drive through. Blake, who had obviously a little bit of a different strategy on the blacks, let Ford get away. Chesko, a couple mistakes. So a lot of mistakes have put these guys in positions where now they have that chance to rebound. People like we're looking at is Discharge and Blake. Those two, especially Kimmy. These guys, there's a chance for everybody here to go and grab some positions, go and grab some wins.
Reset. Yeah. All right, and now could be coming up on the green momentarily as Ford and the 2 Chip Ganassi cars will lead the field to the green.
So it will be green this time. Ford, Ryder a lap down. I believe is Ryder a lap down.
Yeah, Ryder is a lap down. Ryder.
This is going to be interesting because Ryder's gonna put a cushion. He's gonna give Ford a big cushion between Blake and Discharge and Chesko.
Yeah, Ryder.
Ford has hit the zone. And we're green. Ford is gone. We're back on the green. Ryder did not get the best start. He's going to put that cushion even bigger.
Yeah, Ford just pulled away from the lap car as now Blake and Discharge have to fight around Ryder for the time being. Ryder is actually on the very old blacks, and now Discharge and Blake just got right by him. Chesko got right by him as well.
Big moves,
Kimmy and
big moves past Ryder. Ryder's still on the blacks, had to stay out.
Beast and Kimmy side by side for 5th right now, right behind Ryder.
Discharge getting eager. That time is running out. You've got to go.
Oh, Beast right sends it on the inside, but Discharge's gonna look to the inside of Blake.
Blake has got to go chase down his teammate if he wants a shot at this win. The sun currently getting closer to the horizon as we speak, and these drivers are running out a very crucial time. Chesko staying behind Discharge. Discharge giving Blake a lot of take and now a lot of give, and now Blake has got to go and take and go catch Ford.
Yeah, this is Blake's time to shine. If he wants to have a shot win this race, you have to go ahead and catch Ford right now, because at any moment that 2 to go could happen once that sun hits the horizon. As Blake is actually going to run a little wide on that corner, Discharge is actually going to get the better run off. Chesko Beast follows suit. Kimmy's actually going to make the move on Ryder. Actually,
Ford had pulled a total of 2.1 seconds that lap. A phenomenal lap by Ford. Probably one of the fastest.
Blake goes into grass a little bit.
Discharge takes the advantage. He has finally passed Blake. The 2 drivers we've seen put down the fastest laps are now 1 and 2. Discharge has got to put something together here as he's running out of time. See Chesko fall back to 4th.
Yeah, Chesko is kind of, seems like he's like laying down right now. His Beast is actually going to try and hawk down Chesko for 4th right now. Beast trying to make a
significant comeback.
Here. Yeah, Beast trying to make a comeback right now as now Kimmy is falling behind.
Chesko ran very wide there. Yeah, to get out the gas.
Here comes as they enter Dan Weldon Drive.
So everybody kind of running their own race right now. Everybody's spread out. So it's just it's your own game. You can't work around nobody else. It's your own game.
Yeah, as Discharge desperately trying to hawk down Ford with 24 laps to go, although that could be shortened due to the sunset. So really, it's just go time right now for everyone. If you have a shot. Oh, Beast is actually going to come down.
Beast is going to come down. He's going to take the risk at a caution coming out. Take those fresh, or at least have better tires. Ryder and Beast are both going to come down. So Beast comes, I'm assuming they're going to come down for the Reds here.
Yeah, Ryder finally came down. He was on.
Oh, Blake, Chesko.
Ryder makes a switch to Reds, and Beast also makes a switch to Reds. But right now, Discharge 3.6 seconds behind Ford right now as they exit the double right-hander, heading down Bayshore Drive.
Oh, Blake, big mistake. He pops in the air. Chesko's going to take the advantage, and he's going to grab the position. That was Chesko, a very perfectly timed move by Chesko. Saw the mistake, had a really good corner, took the advantage, and now he's going to put himself into 3rd. Blake didn't lose too much time, still with Chesko. It's a big dive from Blake. That could have ended really badly if he had got under Chesko. That could have been a really bad crash for Chesko. Fortunately, it did not happen that way. So Blake falls back to 4th. Chesko's going to take over 3rd. Discharge trying to chase down in 2nd to grab Ford. And I think it was a gain that lap. It was a whole second gain.
Oh, yeah, about a second. So Discharge is hawking down Ford right now. If Discharge can keep this up, I think we'd have a pretty interesting battle for the win on hand. But it's not just these guys racing. They're also racing against the clock as well as the sun is setting down over St. Pete.
Chesko actually pulled a significant gap over Blake. So now Chesko is going to try and at least pick up some time on Discharge and both Ford. Blake seems to be making some mistakes. That was actually a really big dive from him. It's going to cost him on this exit. This double right-hander. Let's watch these two as they go through it.
Looks like Chesko's going to go through it just perfectly fine.
A little wide. Had to get out the gas. Pop the wall.
Pop the wall.
Big run from Blake. Blake is going to take it. He's going to go around the outside.
That double right-hander, like we said before, like even during practice, that double right-hander is going to be a big, crucial point throughout the entire race.
Blake ahead at the apex. What a pass by Blake at the apex.
There we go. What a move by Blake. As now he's going to head around to the last corner. Now we'll see what the gap is between Discharge and Ford.
A little bit of a
actually
loss
lost
that
it.
lap. 2/10 lost on that lap.
Blake and Chesko trying to catch back up to Blake for third, trying to get that third place back. Chesko made a dive for it, but actually lost a ton of time on that corner. I think he sent it in a little too hard. As Blake now heading down first streets.
A little bit of a pop by Chesko. 2 pops, actually. Popped the front end up in the air.
Yeah. You got to be careful on those bumps there, because those bumps, they could hit you out of nowhere where we least expected. And now, Chesko runs a little wide off exit. Now it's going to give Blake a little bit of a cushion going into the double right-hander. As now we turn back to the leaders. Looks like Ford is actually going to enter turn 11, heading down Dan Weldon Drive as Discharge is going to follow suit. It looks like Discharge is actually gaining. Looks like visually he's gained like a little bit of time on Ford, but we'll see what the gap is.
Ford popped a very dangerous bump there. That could have really ended bad if it had shook his car any further. Luckily it didn't. I think Discharge might have lost a little bit this time. Visually looks like he lost a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see what the time says.
Gonna be 2:93. Yeah, a little bit of another 2/10 loss. And that's the hard part about road courses. There's so many different corners that they could be doing better than you in, and you know you've got multiple different things to work on compared to an oval. So that's the hard part about Discharge catching. It's the easy part about Ford staying in the lead. It's the hard part for Discharge to even reel that gap back in. Discharge at this point really just hoping for a mistake from the 10.
Yeah, honestly, I mean,
picture perfect all day.
Looking at the tires right now, Ford is actually, I believe he's like a lap or two. He's got a lap or two fresher tires than Discharge, as Ford is actually, you know, as long as Discharge is trying to maintain that gap. But another factor we have to keep in mind is like the freshness of the tires. Ford is actually on a little bit of fresher tires than Discharge by about 1 or 2 laps. So it'll be interesting to see how that gap is gonna prevail throughout the rest of the race, as Chesko has actually lost a bit of time to Blake there. As now it looks like there's only 7 cars left in the race. As
all right, so we'll watch the gap between Ford and Discharge. It's gonna be a 3/10 gain that lap, so a little bit of a pick and choose on the when it wants to when he wants to gain and when he wants to lose. Yeah. But actually, something that's interesting is that Ford is starting to catch Ryder, that lapped car, and that's gonna pose an issue for Ford, seeing that Ryder is actually a little bit off the pace, or actually significantly off the pace compared to Ford. So we'll see how Ford manages to get by him. He'll have to pick a straightaway.
We'll have to see how. Oh wait!
Discharge got to him. Oh, Ford on the wall, double right-hander.
Side into the double right-hander off of turn number 9. Ford to outside. He's gonna keep.
Ford must have made a crucial mistake coming out of that tight section, coming into the double right-hander, and that allowed Discharge to really reel in the gap. And now Ford is under pressure.
Discharge is now. We could be trying to go for a crossover move, maybe either in the S's or the final corner.
I like Ford's line there. Cut it a little bit tighter than Discharge. Discharge ran a little bit wide.
Now as we head into the final corner, as we come down to 18 laps to go here at St. Petersburg, it looks like they've both pretty much got a very similar exit, but Ford looks like he's going to prevail a little bit.
Great drive off by Ford.
Yeah, Ford had the better run off, but Discharge is also in the slipstream, trying to maintain that gap. Half a second between both of these guys. Now they're going to catch Ryder eventually, so we'll see.
That was an amazing turn 1 by Discharge. Absolutely utilized the curb to its fullest. Got Ford the whole car over the curb. Got as close as he could to that wall. I think he even tapped it a little bit.
Yeah, phenomenal drive by these two right now. As now they're battling now, coming off of turn 4, heading down to the double right-hander. They're going to catch Ryder shortly. We'll see what happens when they catch Ryder. Ford might just use Ryder as a pick, honestly, or vice versa. Discharge might use Ryder as a pick. Either or, but we'll see what happens when they catch Ryder momentarily. If Ryder's going to let him by, or if he's just going to fight them for the lap.
She's actually lost a bit of time this lap.
Yeah, but we'll see. Oh, Discharge smacks the wall off of turn 11 as it come down to 12 and 13.
Yeah, the pace difference right now is definitely on Ford's side. I believe the mistakes are kind of costing
Ford
Discharge a lot.
Ford had his entire car on the curb on the entry of the corner. So that gave Ford a bit of a big cushion.
Yeah, these guys are starting to get pretty risky with the curves. Remember, the main reason why people were crashing early on in the race. So them utilizing the curves like that, they're getting really risky with it.
Ford just smacked the wall a little bit coming off of turn 2. Now heading down into first street. It's going to catch Ryder pretty shortly. It might be sooner than you guys might think. As here comes Ford. He's going to round down the turns 4 and 5. We'll see. He's going to run that particular race line. We'll see what he does with Ryder. Looks like Ryder might just let him by.
Yeah, Ryder let him by. He knows the pace difference. I think Ryder's just really off right now. Might be some damage on that car. Ryder actually smacks the wall.
Smacks the wall a little bit. Discharge also smacks the wall right behind as well. As we come to 16 laps to go. This time by heading down Bayshore Drive.
Now, mistakes are possible. We've had cautions happen at any point in this race. A caution is still possible, even with 17 laps to go, with the field split, with almost every car split by at least 2 to 8 seconds. Caution is still very much possible with the bumps and, you know, the countless amount of mistakes that people have made. Caution is very much possible. So these guys, the willpower has to stay there if you want to even still have a shot to win this race.
Yeah, it's not over yet for guys like Discharge, and even for the guys in the back like Kimi and Beast. It's not completely over for those guys yet. As Discharge actually runs a little wide off of turn 1. Actually almost smacks the wall. As now Ford is going to enter turns 4, 5, 6, and 7. As Ford actually has a pretty good drive off of turn 5, heading out of turn 7. And now Discharge is actually going to catch Ryder pretty momentarily.
Good right-hander by Discharge that time.
Yeah, pretty
a little tight off the second turn. Back to 2.7 seconds.
Yeah, and another thing that
don't think there's anybody that can challenge Ford.
Yeah, it looks like Ryder maybe might let Discharge by. But Ryder is... Oh, Discharge smacks the wall a little bit, coming off of turn 11. Heading down to turns 12 and 13. Ford having a pretty good drive off right now. As, yeah, it looks like Blake and Chesko are still falling behind. Blake actually had a pretty good turn 14 right there. Chesko also pretty similar, although he didn't get that good of an exit though. The gap between them, between Discharge and Ford, is now 4.25 seconds. And Discharge also has to worry about the lap car right ahead of him. It looks like Ryder's just going to let him by. Good call by Ryder. Now we'll see in 15 laps if Discharge can catch Ford. As Ford heads into the double right-hander. And he actually has a really good double right-hander section. We'll see if Discharge follows the same. Looks like he will. Coming down Bayshore Drive, heading to turn number 11. And it looks like Ryder just letting Blake and Chesko go right by him. Ryder is just falling severely off the pace. 2 laps down right now. See what the gap is this time. Discharge has to go.
That was very close
wide.
to the wall.
Yeah, very wide that time.
We'll see what the gap is. They come across line. 14 laps to go. It is another 8/10 loss.
5 seconds.
Discharge. Oh, and he's smacking
around into the wall. Discharge just keeps making those mistakes. He keeps hitting those curbs and sliding into the wall.
It's eventually to a point where all the risk comes down to no reward. I was talking about early on in the race, we saw people crashing over those curbs left and right. And Discharge mentioned it. I mentioned it now. Discharge using that curb, almost full car over it. That time it was entire full car over it. And just came down to a bump and the mistake happened. And now it costed him even more progression towards Ford. I think, honestly, if this were to continue, Ford might just have this.
Yeah, I think this might be Ford's race to lose, honestly. I mean, unless if another caution comes out. As right now, Chesko just got by Ryder. As now he's heading into the double right-hander. Chesko has a pretty good drive off, but Ryder is actually kind of keeping up with him. Ryder just smacks the wall a little bit, but turning back to third with Blake. Blake is 13 seconds back. Just trying to run his race as good as he can. And now we'll see what the gap is this time between Ford and Discharge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
3-second loss. That
8.42.
costs him so much. So now he has even more work to do to get back to Ford. And with the sun
Yeah, I mean
setting,
it's sun is setting, so
extremely quick.
it's gonna be only an uphill battle from here on for Discharge. As Ford is now rounding about, coming in the double right header. And again, these guys' tires are starting to get worn out, so it will actually be another interesting point if these guys are gonna come down, at least on the reds. If these guys are gonna have to come down again, their tires are starting to wear off very, very quickly. So we'll see if they have to come down one more time.
Ford just maintaining that lead.
Yeah, if Ford can maintain this lead, I think it'll be pretty much be like his race to lose.
Looking at the tire readings, definitely looking at the tire stats and from recent pit stop data collected, it looks like they'll be able to make it to the end.
Their show actually comes on pit road right now.
Just trying to strategy, hoping that the caution might fly for some sort of debris. Caution, looking for anything at this point. And that honestly, there's been a cycle here where people have come down and pit, and somebody has caused some sort of mistake and damage has happened, whether it be wing or tire. Some sort of caution has flown just from pit stop began under green. So
yeah,
maybe that cycle will begin as Discharge comes down.
Now Discharge is going to fall to fourth for the time being. As Ford is still out on track. We'll see if he comes down. He's on very, very old tires. So he might make a similar call.
Oh, Blake mistake. The right-hander smacked the wall.
Oh, smacked the wall right there. Blake is actually on fresher tires than Ford is.
So yeah, he had pitted a little bit afterwards following Ford. So I think Ford might continue to stay out here till the end. I think he might just,
Yeah, he might just try to run it out. Try to run out as long as he can.
Problem is, we'll be able to drive. That car might get really tight at the end of the run.
Yeah, it's going to get very tight. It's going to get way tighter than Blake's. But, I mean, 10 seconds, though, it's going to be a very tight gap to close in just a short amount of time. Actually, way longer. 16 seconds now. Oh, my. Blake just smacks that inside wall a little bit.
This shows 31 seconds back. Chesko. Yeah, caution!
Oh, caution is out. Beast is around in the last corner. Beast
and
around
like
in the last corner.
said, the cycle continues. Once the green flag stops, begin to happen. Something begins. Whether it be wing or somebody, whether it be wing or it be suspension, some sort of caution is bound to fly, and that will cost Beast his race. A mistake happened. The caution is out. Now, Ford is in a problem because pits do not open under caution. So Ford is going to be out on old tires. Discharge has the fresh. I believe that's the only person in the field right now that has fresh tires. Blake is out on old tires. Chesko out on old tires. Ryder and Kimmy. So Discharge took a perfect call to come down, pit, and grab fresh tires. Now they are out. The only car right now that will restart with fresh tires and being on the alternate faster tire. I think if this runs green to the end, it plays into Discharge's favor. Yeah,
Discharge definitely has the fresher tires. I mean, these guys, if it runs green to the end, I think honestly it might be Discharge's. I think Discharge has got this one because these guys have to come down. They can try and run it to the end, but it's going to be super tight for these guys. So these guys are going to have to make a call here, whether just come down now, hope for another caution to come out, or if or try and stick it out, run as long as you can. As Ford is actually going to lead them to the green. I think we'll restart for about 9 laps to go here at St. Pete. Yeah, race control is just giving the green this time. So it would be the 2 Chip Ganassi cars, but the unfortunate situation is for both of them, they're both on very old tires compared to Discharge, who just pitted right before the caution came out. Now we only have 6 cars left in the race, 5 cars in the lead lap, Ryder 2 laps down.
That was, I mean, Everybody's just the eyes are on discharge now. You've got to look at the guy with the fresh tires, the only person in the field with fresh tires on the fastest tire that you can have. You've got to look at him, and you've got to look at the people in the lead. Ford looking at how many cars he's got to discharge. He's got 2 cars to discharge. He's got Chesko. He's got his teammate being a very big factor, being a defense mechanism, a defense weapon. Discharge has struggled to get by Blake on multiple accounts, even making multiple mistakes trying to get by him. So that is going to be Ford's best friend. Ford's best friend is going to be his teammate helping him.
Yeah, and also Discharge was having such a trouble time against Blake. Even when Blake was on on the opposite slower compounds, Discharge still had major troubles getting by Blake. So, honestly I agree with you there. I think Ford might actually have a shot at this if Blake just holds out Discharge for as long as possible. If he holds him off for the next 9 laps, I think Ford might have a good chance at it. But Chesko also might be a pretty interesting factor as well. He's on he's on pretty old tires as well, but he's on around the same. He's actually got pretty similar tires to Blake actually, because both of those guys have fresher tires compared to Ford. And actually, I believe everyone is on the reds now. Everyone is on the faster compounds, as we'll be going green in just a few moments here, as Ford is going to lead the field back to the green. Blake right behind Chesko, Discharge, and then Kimi ran out to top 5.
All right, couple chatter from Blake over the radio. Can't make out what it is. Ford hits the restart zone.
We'll see before it goes. And here he goes. Ford's going to get the jump on him. Green flag is back out. Now let's go and take a look back at Discharge and see what he does in the first corner. He's probably going to get a very good drive off, but we'll see.
Look at that wrap around the outside. Look at that grip compared to Chesko. Around the outside, he's going to clear. Not yet.
Not yet. Chesko's putting up a pretty good fight. Here we go. Side by side down First Street, heading to turn number 4.
A little bit of tire contact as they come up into turn 4. Discharge beats him down, trying to pinch him down into turn 4. They're tight racing. Discharge runs him wide.
Door to door. Now,
Chesko up in the wall. Race control has given the command. We have enough time for the horizon. We can run this to the checkered if no more cautions. If the cautions actually don't fly as much as they were before, we can run this to the checkered. 9 laps to go. Discharge on the faster tire by, I believe, 20, maybe 15 laps. So Ford has got to hold on for as much as he can. A little bit of contact is back between Ryder and Chesko as they come up into Danwell to drive. Oh, Ford crashes! Rear end damage!
Ford is around!
Oh, hits his teammate Blake during the grass.
Ford is around. Is that a DNF?
He's got a DNF. He's got left rear damage. Oh, Chesko hits him.
Oh my God, Chesko with the hit. Oh my God.
Huge crash. That's gonna take Ford out the race.
Ford is out. That was a. Oh my goodness.
Unfortunate for a driver who had held on, had the cleanest drive all race. One who had this race locked up to what it seemed like before the caution had been flown. Green flag came out, and now it's just gonna be.
Now we're gonna restart with about 7 to go. Discharge.
And I think he's trying. I think they're currently trying to fight it. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, it looks like Blake is gonna be the leader. Blake is on pretty old tires compared to Discharge, so Blake's gonna have to defend with his life if Ford is out the race.
He's waiting on the call from race control.
Blake might be the only hope the Chip can have to get the race win. Otherwise, Discharge might be Discharge's race to lose. Although now, if Ford is DNF, we only have 4 cars on the lead lap, 5 cars remaining in the race, with Ryder being 2 laps down. And how about Kimi, bro? Kimi, who has kept the car clean all race, now back here in 4th. He's pretty much secured himself a top 5 finish.
Ford still has not deleted his car. Currently still trying to fight it, I believe.
And yeah, I believe they're trying to have a talk with
Ford is officially going to be out. Race control has deemed that it was his fault, incident responsibility, and he will suffer the DNF. leaving 5 cars, 4 on the lead lap, 5 cars total left in the race. Discharge, the only car in the field currently with 8 laps to go, only car in the field currently with fresh tires.
Unfortunate for Ford. One of the fastest cars all day. Led a bunch of laps.
Now, if you're
Just
Blake, you gotta hope for Discharge to make a mistake. You gotta hope for that turn 1 consistent mistake that he has made, popping over that curb. You've got to hope for something that can slow down Discharge. You've got to get a really good start here. You got to hope he doesn't time it with you, because the difference on tires is very huge right now.
Yeah, especially. I mean, we saw it early on in the last restart with Chesko and Discharge. They were side by side going the first corner. Discharge had significantly more grip compared to Chesko. Chesko had to was very slow in that corner. So we'll see what happens between Discharge and Blake on this restart. And race control is giving the green this time by. So as soon as Blake comes off that final corner, we'll be going green, ladies and gentlemen.
And he's gone. He's good. Not as much as a gap that he was hoping for. That's not going to be something that Discharge is going to... That's not going to be something Discharge is going to struggle to close back. But Chesko, will he make a move? Ryder already looking low on Chesko. Chesko looks low.
Oh, it looks
Slide it back in. Ryder go for it. Oh, Discharge made the mistake. Discharge crashed and he's out.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He still has all 4 of his tires. He keeps the car around. He has significant wing damage.
Caution is not going to be thrown. He's going to have to respawn. Unfortunate. Blake in the lead.
Blake is out front. Now it's going to be between Blake and Chesko. Potentially Kimi for the win. Ryder is currently holding up Chesko right now. The lap car holding up Chesko. Now Chesko is broken away just a tiny bit. He's going to come out of turn number 9.
Oh, crash.
Chesko.
Ryder making it extremely difficult for Chesko to go and catch. Now Kimi's got to find his way around this.
Ryder has a barrier for Chesko. Now Kimi's going to go to the outside for second. 3 wide going to turn 11.
That is not going to work. They run it. Oh, they made it work.
Chris barely kept it.
Kimi edges out Chesko. Ryder around the outside. Kimi's inside wall. Ryder smacks. He's out. Ryder, huge hit.
That is it for Ryder. Now Kimi and Chesko were side by side. I believe Kimi was second, but
Kimi
Ryder is officially
came
out.
through the S section, very tight between Chesko, Ryder, and himself. Smacked the inside wall, came back, hit Ryder, and Ryder suffered a very vicious crash to that wall that comes right back at you. And that is going to save Discharge. Discharge was looking for that. Very fortunate to get that caution. And now it's back to the same situation they were in before. This time, Blake has more cars. He's just... How many more bullets does he have to dodge at this point?
Four cars left in the show. We started with 10 DNFs. We only have 4 cars left. Coming to 5 laps to go. We got Blake. Kimi, we haven't even talked about him much today. He's up there in second. He has a real good shot of getting the win here tonight, but I think the man everyone's going to be watching out for is Discharge. He's on those significantly fresher tires. But again, if Discharge makes that mistake like he did on that last restart, it could just come down to these 3, but we'll see what happens. Discharge just can't make those mistakes again. He keeps hitting that curb in turn 1 and spinning out. He can't afford to do that again in the last 5 laps here, because if he hits that again, it could be all over for him. As they head down into the doubleheader, going green this time by, I believe.
That was very, very unfortunate, both for Ryder and for how should I say, Ford as well. I mean, not Ford, Blake. But Discharge is actually on the readings as a lap down currently. I think the respawn counts towards that lap down penalty. I don't know if he's going to get that lap back.
If not, then it'll be between these 3 for the lead. It'll be very, very interesting to see. But
yeah,
Discharge is remaining a lap down. These 3 could fight out for the win.
Still being scored a lap down. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work out, because I'm not sure he's going to get that lap back.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
4 cars remain. I think this is the most DNF'd cars we've had since Bubbles Cup Season 3, when everybody crashed out at 5 flags. This was second most cars DNF'd. Well, back to the zone. Blake is in the zone.
And We'll see when Blake
And he's
goes.
gone.
He's going to go immediately off the corner. Chesko's going to look to the outside of Kimi, side by side for second as they come to 4 laps to go here at St. Pete.
And I think that's gonna stay how it is. I think it's gonna stay how it is. Think Discharge is going to remain a lap down. The track is getting darker. Blake drives off. Great drive off of one. See Discharge with those tires. This point, Discharge is just driving for fun. He's just trying to see what he can get out of this. Blake, it's between Blake and Chesko.
Blake and Chesko for the win. Kimi has kind of trailed back a little bit. We're under 5 laps to go. Let's look at the tire difference between Chesko and Blake. They're actually pretty similar. Blake is actually on a little bit of fresher tires than Chesko right now. But it looks like Blake is pulling away down here, nearing Bayshore Drive as they enter turn 10, entering Bayshore Drive right now. Entering turn 11. Blake has a very good drive off 11. Chesko's going to hit the wall.
Chesko smacks the wall. Discharge doesn't go around the inside. Going to clear me for the S section. So now Discharge would move up into second if he were on the lead lap, but it's still between Blake and Chesko. So Blake is just trying to drive away at this point, trying to hope for no more mistakes, no more cautions. They just run this straight to the end. 4 laps remain.
4 laps to go here at St. Pete. Blake now has a 2.5 second lead over Chesko as he enters turn 1 and 2. And Discharge smacks the wall a little bit off exit as they now head down First Street, heading into the...
And haven't spoken much about Kimi today. I mean, started the race off very questionable. He kind of chilled around out of the top 5, a little bit out of the top 5, and now just keeping sheer attrition and just keeping, his car, maintaining everything, staying out of incidents, has put him into a position where he's top 5, top 3 actually, and he's going to finish in the top 3 points. So, I mean, everything worked out well for him. But just, just had to have a lot of things go his way today. And, same thing with Blake on Discharge and Ford.
Yeah, Kimi has just kept the car clean all day, and that's honestly a very good trick to follow, as now he's going to get pretty got himself a secure top 3 as long as he just keeps the car clean for the next 3.5 laps. As now we're entering into 3 laps to go with Blake coming off the corner, heading down the front straightaway. He's going to cross the line. 3 to go here at St. Pete. And Chesko is about 4.5 seconds back. Lost a couple seconds that time. We'll see what happens when Discharge catches Blake. See if Blake is going to either go let him by or if he's just going to fight him. If he fights him, though, that might give an opportunity for Chesko to potentially catch him. But 4.5 seconds in 3 laps is a very hard task for Chesko to do. As they wrap around 4, 5, and then 6 and 7. Here comes Discharge. He's going to trail behind Blake throughout the double right header.
Blake is still noticing the significant, should I say, speed difference and pace difference. At this point, if a caution were to come out, the race would possibly end under caution. But if Discharge still can grab that lap back, he wouldn't have to stay trapped under caution, and Blake's going to let him by. So if Discharge were to get a caution at this point, he could still have a shot in that 1-lap shootout. If we do end up having one, a little bit of contact there between Blake and Discharge. Blake actually backed out after realizing that contact, and Discharge is going to drive away.
As we come to 2 laps to go here at St. Pete.
Discharge has officially unlapped himself.
Yeah, Discharge unlapped himself here. No, Chesko is about 5 seconds back.
An unbelievable race that drivers thought, it's going into it. It seemed like if you were the fastest, you had everything figured out, you were going to end up with the overall win. Turns out most people that kept it, slow and steady wins the race. Everybody that stayed off of those curbs kept their cars clean, maintained. You got Kimi, started outside the top 5, was fighting his way. Sorry,
not the majority of the race, and then now he's got himself a secure top 3 position if he just keeps the car clean for the next 2.5 lap and a half here.
Yeah, Kimi, who started 5th, was hanging around outside the top 5 pretty much most of the race, and then ended up keeping his car clean. Now puts himself 3rd, sees himself 3rd. Chesko, who started 11th, fought his way. I think he at least passed half the field multiple times this race. is now in second. It could finish behind Blake as he actually hits the
Oh.
inside wall. A little bit of a mistake there. That was very close to a caution,
Very
but
close
keeps
for
it
Chesko
clean.
to end his day right there, but
And
Chesko
here
keeps the
comes
car clean for
Blake
the most part.
down the front
Here comes
straightaway.
the
It's gonna
white
be
flag.
one lap to go
Yes,
for
indeed.
Blake. An unbelievable start for Blake to this season. To see himself joining Ford with one of the elite teams, Chip Ganassi racing alongside of some of the greatest, having a team owner that is very proud in the drivers that he signed, very much willing to push them to the limits, and Ford putting him on to a very good ride. Blake saw himself coming into the season looking at a very different competition of drivers, looking at a different field that he would go against, a lot of new faces that he has not seen, that he has not raced against. And as he comes through the double right-hand section, he is looking to put himself in the winner's club in the NTT IndyCar series. As it started off as we saw some of the veterans probably going to edge out, like Agent, Ford, those guys turned out to DNF under circumstances that were just unfortunate. But as Blake managed and contained, he is going to be in a 4.2 second gap range. And as he comes through the final S section, coming up into turn 14, Blake is going to see himself joining the Winners Club, going to grab the full points day. As he comes down the front straightaway, it is going to be one of the wins that we had not expected. Blake is going to win in St. Pete. The checkered is thrown. Chesko grabs second. Kimi gonna round out for a third place finish. That team very proud of the way Kimi was able to manage and hold on. And Discharge unfortunately caught many mistakes. Still trying to finish his lap. Come up for a fourth place finish. And Ryder, although he did DNF, is going to round out the top 5. An unbelievable race with many different leaders, many different lead changes, a lot of different fast guys coming in and out, a lot of different comers and goers. But Blake ended up holding out the field and being the man on top in the end, as Discharge still coming up into Dan Weldon Drive.
Oh, Chesko just bumps in the Blake a little bit on the cooldown lap.
I think that might be a sign of congratulations, giving him that good thumbs up. It was a big fight today. Everybody's just trying to stay alive. It was a very big fight today. At his Discharge finally rounds the last corner. Very unfortunate for him. He's gonna finish 4th. Still a good points day. We're gonna see if we can get some interviews going.
Yeah, we'll see if we get an interview with the race winner Blake. As now he's gonna come on the front stretch. And he kicks off the IndyCar, and Chip Ganassi will kick off the IndyCar season with a big win here tonight.
Bubba is going to be very happy with the performance of his team today. Not much of the performance, but the outcome, I should say. Not many people.
Yeah.
They didn't do sitting qualifying. Obviously, unfortunate for it. Obviously, crashed out. But the outcome of them winning with the driver is going to be something that Bubba's going to be very proud about.
Yeah, for sure.
Chesko, very good start to the season. Shows what these guys are going to need for these road courses to come up. Obviously finding out where those bumps are, number one, and trying to stay away from those bumps as best as possible. But Chesko with a really good start to the season. For Mayor Shank Racing. You can get interview.
Yeah, it's been a very, very chaotic race with many different twists and turns throughout especially in the late portion of the race, and even initially when Agent just suddenly DNF'd on like lap 4.
I think we do have Chesko with us. Chesko, whenever you're ready.
You can come on up.
Tesco, you got us? I don't think. Can't really hear him. I think he's going to try and rejoin. Tesco, see if you got us. Oh,
Oh no.
still can't quite hear you. A little bit of technical difficulties on his end. I mean, how about that race, though? I mean, that was unbelievable. A lot of guys came in there looking for the win, thought they had it, and then just push came to shove, mistakes, certain circumstances that were just unfortunate and tragic ended up costing them the entire race. And Blake, obviously one of the guys to really you know have that good maintain that attrition throughout the entire race, ended up coming up on top. Guys like Agent, very unfortunate that it had to end like that for them. Ryder still finished with a top 5, but especially somebody like Discharge had amazing speed all throughout the race, still ended up very short. And another guy like Ford had a lot of pace all throughout. But I think Chesko might have some difficulties trying to get with us. We'll give him some time to try and get back to the stage.
Chesko is definitely surprised. I think a lot of us here today with his performance here today. Running up front for the majority of the day, end up coming in second. I think Chesko should feel pretty proud of his performance here today, and obviously Blake, obviously with the win. But overall, it's a pretty chaotic race.
All right, so I think that's going to conclude. I don't know if Chesko is going to be able to get an interview. Got some mic issues going on. That was IndyCar at St. Pete. One race to remember, as it shows what drivers are going to need for later on down the road. We go to places like Barber. We got some more on there, but this is going to be a very good season for competition. You got places like Long Beach, Indy Road Course. We've got a lot of road courses coming up. Blake masters out the streets at St. Pete, stays alive, surviving all the junk. Chesko gets second. Kemi in third. Discharge fourth. Ryder rounds out the top 5. That is stream broadcast from the streets of St. Pete. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week at Phoenix.